Hey everybody, welcome back to Droid Life. Tim here, so happy to be speaking with you again. I know it's been a while. My apologies. Today we've got a very special treat. We are looking at the all-new Galaxy Fold 4, just because I'm sort of over the Z thing. I'm sorry, just Galaxy Fold 4. That's totally fine with me. So if you're on board with it with me, that'd be great. So Galaxy Fold 4 from Samsung, their brand new folding device, this alongside their Flip 4 that Kellen has. So we're going to be going over these devices. Not too much to check out, in terms of kind of like what's new. I've been calling them sort of like incremental upgrades versus the other years, but either way, let's bust it open. You can see here I have a T-Mobile SIM courtesy of Samsung. Thank you so much. They were kind enough to shoot these over to us, and we are greatly appreciative. Thank you so much, Samsung. Looking at this, I can tell I've got the gray-green color here. In this lighting, a bit more gray than green, but I'm not going to complain. That's a pretty good-looking color if you ask me. But go ahead and get it out of here. Let's make sure we don't have anything else in the box. As far as we know, these phones are pretty much coming with nothing, no chargers or anything. I mean, you're spending, this device starts at $17.99, so $2,000. Well, basically $2,000 and no charger. I guess that's okay. Most folks already have chargers anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. Samsung isn't including like some crazy support for super fast charging or anything like that this year. I'm pretty sure it's still just 25 watts, so I'm trying to dig into this box to make sure you guys aren't missing anything. It appears that, that's where the camera goes in the box. We've got, inside here, we've got USB-C to USB-C cable and some other documentation. And there's your SIM ejector tool. So, how about that? SIM ejector tool, very nice. I mean, that's something that I feel like they don't need to include with devices anymore, right? I've got about 6 billion SIM ejector tools, and I only have to ever use it once in the life of the device. Whereas a charger, I use it daily. So, that's a little weird. Riddle me that. Anyway, so that's the box. Pretty plain. No specs on the outside. Just says gray-green color. No specs, anything. Just fold. And yeah, here we go. So here it is, the Fold 4. I'm going to go ahead and try and figure out how to do this. Oh, here we go. There's arrows. Arrows are good. Let's see what we got here. Nice and easy. Okay. Nice. All you ASMR folks, sorry I couldn't get that maybe closer to the mic for you. That's okay. So one thing I'm noticing is, this phone is obviously, as far as I know, never been folded, but it's already got a nice little crease down the middle here, so Samsung still is trying to figure that out maybe. That's okay. I'll power it up, and while it's powering up, I'll go over some of the specs here. So, like I mentioned, there's not a lot of difference between the Z Fold 3, which I have right here, and the Z Fold 4. There are, of course, the 2022 specs in terms of processor and all that, but overall screen size, this main display, 7.6-inch Dynamic AMOLED 2X. It's that Infinity Flex display. It does have the adaptive refresh rate, so 1 Hz all the way to 120 Hz, so that's fantastic. On this cover display, which, here we go, my first fold. Oh, that feels good. This cover display on the outside here is a 6.2-inch HD Plus Dynamic AMOLED 2X display, and again, it also has an adaptive refresh rate. It's 48 Hz to 120 Hz, so it's not going to get that 1 Hz, but that's fine. 48's plenty low enough. This phone should have, relatively darn good battery life considering it's 4,400 milliamp hours, so it should be pretty good. As I mentioned here, we do have a Snapdragon or an 8 Plus Gen 1 processor, so latest and greatest processor from Qualcomm. We've got 12 gigs of base RAM, so no matter what storage option you get, and it goes all the way to 1 terabyte, it's going to come with that 12 gigs of RAM. So that's good. You can see this front display camera here. Last year, I think it was, when they sort of introduced that under-display camera. To me, it was very noticeable, very visible. This one is much better. They said they introduced a new kind of pixel arrangement, or like a sub-pixel, a TAM, some weird words, and it looks a lot better. I'm going to be completely honest. They aren't as noticeable as they were on last year's model, so props to Samsung for that. On the bottom here, we've got an external speaker, we've got a noise canceling mic, USB-C there on the right side. On the right here, we have that capacitive fingerprint reader here, so side mounted volume rocker up, down. On the top, we've got more noise canceling mics, as well as an additional speaker. On the left side here, left top, you have that, that's where your SIM is going to go. No expandable storage, sorry. I mean, clearly there's plenty of room, but, you know, what are you going to do? Here's the display again, gorgeous. On the back side here, I'll fold it up one more time. Right now this is a really gorgeous phone. We have 3 rear cameras. We have a 12 megapixel ultra wide sensor, a 50 megapixel wide angle camera, as well as a 10 megapixel telephoto camera. On the front here, for all your selfie taking needs, that's a 10 megapixel shooter, and on the inside, that is a 4 megapixel camera. Again, 4,400 milliamp hour battery. It's got 5G, LTE, Bluetooth 5.2, an IPX8 water resistance, so same as last year. It still has S Pen support. I think what would be cool, I'm not sure if Samsung has numbers on this, how many people use the S Pen with this device, but I know I never did last year. I don't know anyone who does. If you do, feel free to let me know in the comments. I'm sure it's very helpful to have such a big display, right? And have that S Pen, but to not include it in the box, again, at $1,800, it just seems like something they can maybe throw in. I know if you pre-order the device, they're giving away a case that comes with the S Pen, so technically you're getting it, but it doesn't come in the box. It is something you have to order, or at least have along with your order. So something to take note of. Samsung Pay, stereo speakers, all that good stuff. And again, it comes in this gray-green color. This out of like the beige, the dark, I think it's graphite, and that, especially that beige, that's no bueno in my book. This gray-green with this matte finish, that is where it's at. So let me show you to you here, folded up. They did, sort of improve this hinge design yet again. That sort of seems to be a recurring theme for Samsung. They just keep kind of changing up the hinge, and it looks really good. This color is absolutely gorgeous. This nice Samsung logo on the outside here. Looks really thin. Let me go ahead and fold up the Z Fold 3 and give you the little side-by-side here. Again, these phones are nearly identical. The Z Fold 3 is a little bit taller, so they did decrease the height of this one ever so slightly, but I mean, you're not really going to be noticing too much of a difference here. On the outside, to my eye, the Z Fold 4 looks a little bit thinner. It's also a little bit lighter, and that is because of that hinge design. They said it's lighter, more compact. Let's see from the top here. I mean, nothing too crazy. Like they're both very good. If we can, compare this to like the original Z Fold, these are almost night and day. These are really good devices. The Z Fold 3 was an amazing device, and that's why I sort of say that the Z Fold 4 is more of a incremental upgrade versus the Z Fold 3. I mean, this one kind of changed the game. It came with that water resistance. This one, they're continuing to just improve upon that, and there's nothing wrong with that. They brought down that price, $17.99 starting price. That's really good. So now that I've given you the specs, I've given you the nice little hardware tour, I'm loving this color. I cannot wait to get this out in the sun. I'm going to go ahead, I'll log in, show you some software stuff, and yeah, we'll be right back. And we are back. So I've got it all booted up here, looking all gorgeous. I went ahead, found my S Pen Fold Edition for everyone, just to make sure and confirm for everyone that yes, last year's Fold Edition pen will work. So if you pick this up with the Z Fold 3, hang on to it. Don't get rid of it. It's going to work just fine for your Z Fold 4. Or Fold 4, excuse me. I was playing with the software a bit, and I've got to say, super smooth. This is the first device to ship with Android 12L, which was designed specifically for these foldable devices. Devices essentially with larger displays to take full advantage of those. And One UI 4.1.1 running on top of 12L. It's smooth. It's nice, people. This is a really refined experience. And if you know me and my history with Samsung software, maybe I'm not I've never been the biggest proponent of it or advocate for it, but this is nice, and the touches that Samsung has done is really lovely. So let me go ahead and I'm gonna show you a couple of things here. let's say they've got this new taskbar, which is actually really awesome. So let's say I open up Chrome, then down here at the bottom, I've got this brand new taskbar, and I can open up additional apps. I can quickly scroll through those if I need to and get right back into Chrome. What's really cool is if I can long press on these and then activate that multi-window. I can drag it to a side, I can open it up, and then I can easily just switch those out. I can swap them, I can change up the sizes. Also, if let's say I want to open up an additional Chrome window, I can drag that up, and if I drag it to the center, I can have the pop-up window, and then of course that pop-up window, I can move it, I can change the opacity of it. I mean, really, what can't I do with it? That's sort of like the point, right? I can expand it. What I'm really liking is, and I didn't know at first if I was really going to be a big fan of the taskbar, but already I can tell you, like, being able to quickly dive into my favorite apps and drag and drop them into a multi-window kind of function like this. This was good. I'm surprised it took them 4 years to implement this. I really like it. On the past one, I was still just using gestures and all that, but I think I'm going to stick with this kind of layout. Just to go over the settings menu with you real quick here, you've got this dual pane, kind of dual window-esque thing. You've got your main settings menu out here, and then you can dive deeper into the menus on the right side. So, for example, I'm in the display, I want to go dark mode. That's obviously like the first thing I always do. So I switch to dark mode. Maybe for the video it's a bit better if I stay in light. You can mess with your brightness. You've got that motion smoothness right there. That's where you're going to be finding that refresh rate. Keep it at adaptive. I scroll down a little bit. This is where you're going to find those edge panels. So that's these guys right here. I'm not a huge fan of those. I always tend to disable them very quickly. But that taskbar, you can enable and disable right here. They also have a few, you can show recent apps for it. And then also, it's smart. It's going to figure out what apps you like to have open at the same time. So for example, if I press that button, it's going to open messages and my gallery at the same time. I can program all of that, totally customizable, so that's good to know. And then right below that is your navigation bar. So you can have taskbar in addition to swipe gestures and or buttons. And of course, you can change your button order, button position. If you're left-handed, you can have it over here. And then you have a dedicated app drawer at all times over here on the left side. It's really amazing. So if I'm in an app and I'm like, oh, I want to like dive into a game or whatever, boom, right in my app drawer, all my apps. That is really slick. Again, I cannot believe it took them 4 years to do that. Just to show you from the outside here what that cover display is looking like. There it is. Pretty much like a Samsung phone minus the big display. You've got your task bar, your quick settings up here in the bottom. You can dive in your settings menu. All of it's the same stuff. I will say, like I kind of mentioned, it's smooth. Android 12L with One UI 4.1.1. This is very nice. Dive into the settings here. Maybe if I can show the About Phone software information. Yep, Android 12, 4.1.1. It's 12L. They just show it as 12. Don't worry about it. Ships with the July patch. I'm sure there will be an update shortly for it to bring it up to August, but that's what I've got for you for now. I expect to have, first 10 things to do, tips and tricks. I mean, there's a lot to look at for this phone, a lot to dive into. I'm really excited about it. I cannot get over this color, this matte-ness. That is super hot. Again, let me show it to you next to my Galaxy Fold 3 here. This also matte, but just kind of like that blackness, it's not really that cool. This gray-green, this is hot. I'm liking this. And it feels compact. It has this more kind of like the Galaxy S22 line where it's more of like a right angle on those corners. It feels really nice. This is more of that rounded side. And this is great, don't get me wrong, but I'm really liking the in-hand feel for the Z Fold 4. This is my favorite one so far, and I've only had it for about 5 minutes. So, if you guys have any questions, please let me know. I know we've got the devices a bit earlier than the general public, so if you have questions or anything like that, please feel free, put them down in the comments section below. We'll try and get to them. And yeah, be on the lookout for plenty more content. Kellen's got the Z Flip 4, so he's going to have all that, and I'll have the Z Fold 4. Hit me up on Twitter. Let us know if you have any questions. Until then, we are Droid Life. Peace.